What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today we're jumping into some more Orcs Must Die Unchained. This time we are heading into the restricted section with Tundra. So Tundra is sort of an enigma, and I incorrectly gave somebody advice on how to get the Imperial Golden Mage skin. This skin was part of a community event that existed during the time when Orcs Must Die Unchained actually had a community manager, and it was given as part of an event that was running during that time. I don't believe that at this point there's any way to get your hands on any of the community skins without basically just purchasing an account from somebody that was around at the time. So this skin will basically never be able to be gotten again unless something happens with the game. So that said, I apologize for misinforming anybody in the past, but we're gonna go with this one for now. And we got the Tundi. This should be pretty solid for this area. I think we can get something going here. Though there's going to be a couple of areas where ice vents won't really fit well. That said, otherwise, I think this is okay. So let's just go ahead and get this fired up.
We stand and fight together.
That we do, Bear. That we do. So as always, this is a map that has a lot of winding corridors, and you have to block them off basically somewhat specifically.
I do not love these.
If you want to make sure that enemies don't just split off and make it more difficult for you to actually make anything happen. Because there's a guardian pile right here, you can't place any large traps, so this won't be able to really do much there. You can drop it here if we want to put something down, but for me, it's going to be most important to get down one of these bad boys.
Breath upon my cheek.
They will not pass.
Steel and magic are a poor substitute for claw and tooth.
And this should be a solid start. We can add a couple of these.
Rude, but I suppose we must stop at nothing.
Probably something like this.
It will do its duty.
And then for the most part, we should be ready to go. There's not a ton that's going to be particularly dangerous coming out of here for Tundra, as long as you don't have any barricades or anything set up. The kamikaze kobolds that come out eventually won't really be dangerous at all either. It should be pretty evident that the combination of slows and freezing make a really good crowd control combo, and because of the stable hand, you can actually stack those pretty well. Stable hand's a really good companion guardian for Tundra, as is the priest. The priest, because he can freeze everything, and that gives Tundra pretty much an immediate damage increase. We're going to take Iced Over, just because we really don't need any extra move speed or anything from Avalanche. This particular map is going to be pretty tight.
An unstable rift is opening. Quick, destroy it.
Okay, that unstable rift is up here.
Our heroes destroyed the unstable rift, and there was much rejoicing.
If you absolutely don't feel like you can hold off any one of these areas, you can just toss that ice wall up. As long as it touches the corner here, they really can't get around it. But I didn't quite set it up close enough. But you can block off one side completely and not have to deal with it. That's the reason that ability has such a long cooldown on it. Okay.
Be protected.
Not quite what we want. You gotta move this one down. Okay. So you can see the kamikaze kobolds really didn't do much. And then that'll definitely work. You can see their attention turn onto the wall versus anything else. It's a good idea if you can set it up just right to have it stop the enemies on top of the floor scorchers. That will make it so that when the scorcher resets, it will flip as many enemies as possible, and makes for good combo bait as well.
Let endless winter warm its hands on your heart. A soldier fights as they are trained.
Now you can't hit enemies through the ice wall. You have to walk through it completely, or else it'll negate even melee attacks. So be careful with that. Okay.
The boss minion has entered the battlefield.
All right, there we go.
I suppose we must stop at nothing.
3 barricades, great walls, no problems. All right, we're gonna take chilled weapons, which should let us use
The sting of wintertide never heals.
this as sort of a damage buff. You'll know because you get the little paw over your head during the period.
The boss minion is down.
Ooh, that was tough. A lot of damage really quick. All right. Now we get a new area opening up. I've already barricaded for it. There's a couple more things I'm going to do though. I'm going to place a barricade down here to force everybody to go along this path.
Enemies are attacking on another front.
Which means we can do one of these,
Steel and magic are a
one of
force.
these,
They've broken through a gate.
and a bit of this.
I do not love these, but I suppose I love our enemy less.
I don't believe any bosses come out of here. But for the most part, we should be pretty alright. Alright, now a lot of things are going to start trying to make their way down here.
An unstable rift is opening. Destroy it.
I would rather feel my enemy. I do not love these, but I suppose I love our enemy less. No executioner was ever so busy as I.
Your best bet whenever you have a rift open on Tundra is just to, as soon as you get it in the sight, launch a barrage of icicles at it, and that will do really most of the work for you. Oh.
Our barricades are under attack.
I want to stay away from those guys so that they do not actually blow up anything important.
I suppose it will do its duty. Well placed, I think. Steel and magic are a poor substitute for clawing too.
More wall traps will probably be a good choice here. I only have the Spitfire. But there's a lot of really useful walls that you'll find on this particular map. Could also place a few more of these guys. And they just prevent you from really having to deal with most of the things that can come through there. We'll do that.
Crude, but I suppose we must stop at nothing.
Alright, next we will have this bad boy opening up soon. Gonna barricade down here.
Well placed, I think.
Now we really have a good amount of damage set up. It's spread out at the 3 gates. So we won't really have any super concentrated damage, but we should be able to defend the gates pretty well if we take our time and kind of roll up to each one individually. It's always been a common tactic in the earlier parts of the game when people had to gate camp. Put up just enough damage to secure the gates individually, and then move on and place more traps at the other ones.
Look out! Our defenses have been breached again! They've broken through a gate! I suppose it will do its duty.
If you fight over the floor scorchers, they will sometimes launch enemies into the air for you, and while they're in there you get a 4 times damage boost, which is great. If you have any sort of physics traps that have a stunning accumulator on them, they will take 8 times damage instead of the 4, and it's absolutely amazing. Alright, gotta take a freezer burn,
An unstable rift is open.
which makes
Get to it and destroy it.
flash freeze much more useful. Alright.
Our barricades are under attack!
No trespass.
One more?
We have destroyed the unstable rift.
All right.
Will not pass.
This is going to be pretty easy going forward, and it should be relatively quick now too. Although up here, what we're going to want to do is to get the ballista going.
They will not reach the reef.
Steel and magic are a poor substitute for claw and tooth.
And these guys are pretty easy to deal with just the floor scorchers and the staple hand. He's going to knock down most of them, and the floor scorchers will handle a couple too. So in most cases, you won't have to worry about anything really going through there. There goes the nice benefits of the floor scorchers again.
Make known my deeds among the people.
These are really the only enemies that you ever have to be on the lookout for, the kobolds. Their speed allows them to kind of get through some setups that other minions would not really even be able to touch.
A boss is on its way.
You can block this off too.
But I suppose
An unstable rift is opening. It must be destroyed.
let's witness it.
Well
Okay.
done. The unstable rift has been destroyed.
Well, if that's done, our goal is really to freeze everybody
Boss minion has
up
been
the
taken
Lysander
down.
and really get to him. But we killed him before we actually got to drop the freeze, which is fine. There we go. Final wave. If you absolutely want to, you could block this area off.
This is the final wave.
Force the enemies to walk around here and set up a few more traps and an extra guardian. Really not necessary though.
I would rather feel my enemy's last breath upon my cheek.
Would actually be better to just get the ballista up for now.
I suppose it will do its duty. I've forgotten how fun this is. They've summoned a boss minion.
Combination of freeze traps, freezing the kobolds on top of the viscous tar is actually pretty excellent. Here's our boss. Gonna give all the orcs extra life. Doesn't matter though.
Boss minion defeated.
If you want to burst bosses, what I recommend is hitting them with the freeze and then tossing the icicle burst on top. All the icicles will do a ton of extra frost damage because of Tundra's passive, and they will be very, very dangerous. And that's it.
Are the smiles of Arctus upon us.
Get us a little bear jig there. All right. So yeah, the key to the restricted section, in my opinion, has always just been consolidating your pathing. The more paths that enemies have to take in that map, the harder it becomes. And you also have the ability to, with the consolidation of any path, consolidate the trap firepower, and that makes it easier to defend. So doing that, regardless of the exact setting of your traps, should make that a lot easier. But don't take my word for it, try it for yourself. Let me know how it works out. Either way, we're going to be moving on to the Midnight Market, which is going to be an interesting map because it's a Wuxing map again, which means Tundra will have a significant amount of damage reduction versus the normal troops. We do still get to freeze them though, so that may ultimately cancel things out. We'll see how it goes when we get there though. Thanks for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you guys for coming and checking out the vids. There's plenty of other things that I'm starting to toss up on the channel. Let me know what you guys think of those videos too, stuff outside of Orcs, because I'm starting to get a lot of offers for other games to show you guys, since you guys are so interested in the Orcs videos, so I might be able to put out some other things that you find very interesting. But leave the feedback on any stuff that you find on the channel or anything that you might want to see, and I'll see what I can do about getting it out for you. Thanks again as always, and until next time, take care of yourselves and have a good one, folks.